Emotions get a bad rap, especially in business. We're asked to leave our emotions at the door and act and think rationally. Leaders who express emotion can be viewed as weak or poor decision makers. Yet clear, present, and rational thinking requires you to tap into and navigate your full range of emotions. In a world that pushes leaders to be strong, decisive, rational, and relentlessly positive by either ignoring their emotions or only focusing on the positive, Dr. Susan David, author of Emotional Agility, Get Unstuck, Embrace Change, and Thrive in Work and Life, offers an alternative. One that is grounded in science and enables you to tap into one of your most powerful navigating systems for dealing with life's challenges. Emotional Agility is the next in my series, 10 books every change leader needs to read. Stay tuned to discover how to practice emotional agility and 4 key takeaways from this book that will help you lead and navigate change. I have advocated the value of emergent and a participative organizational change approach for over 2 decades. It's the foundation for our readiness mindset system, a flexible science-based approach and methodology that develops and adapts to the readiness of the people who must make the change journey. Susan's concept of emotional agility is similar. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Emotional agility is the ability to let go, take control, navigate, and respond to the thoughts, beliefs, feelings, and stories in a way that enables you to make choices that support your health and well-being. As Susan states, being emotionally agile means being sensitive to the context and responding to the world as it is right now. Although our emotions play an important, necessary role in our ability to navigate the world, we are not our emotions. And simply shifting our language from an I am to an I feel, and then exploring those feelings enables you to take back control, but with more information to guide your response. She contrasts this with emotional rigidity. Emotional rigidity is getting hooked by thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that don't serve us and leads to psychological ills. Emotional agility is not just about thinking positively. It's about using one of your most potent systems to respond and interact with your world. So the key is practicing emotional agility. But what does that look like? For example, how do you avoid feeling overwhelmed and anxious when your organization announces yet another change and you're still trying to figure out the last one? Or how do you not react to an email from your direct report or a colleague that questions your decision and seems to be resisting the change? That's what makes this book so powerful. Susan David outlines practical science-based strategies and examples that demonstrate how to practice emotional agility. I had so many takeaways from this book. 4 particularly resonated with me because I could see how they will help you and others lead and navigate change more confidently. The first, and perhaps the most important, was acknowledging and not ignoring our emotions. It's easy as a leader. You were probably told, like I was, take emotion out of the equation, remove it from the decision-making process. Yet we can't, And we don't make any rational decisions without engaging our emotions. Susan states, your emotions are neurochemical systems that help you navigate life's complex currents. They're your body's immediate physical responses to vital signals from the outside world. They're your brain and nervous system's way of telling you, hold it, something's different. Pay attention. With that understanding, then we can see that emotions aren't either good or bad. Emotions like sadness, anxiety, guilt, and fear are as crucial to your health and well-being as emotions such as happiness, love, and courage. The power of practicing emotional agility is learning how to navigate all of your emotions and recognizing when you're hooked and how to quickly unhook yourself from those unhelpful thoughts and stories. And that was my second takeaway from Susan's book, how quickly we can get hooked, how our thoughts can trap us, and what we need to do to get unhooked. As Susan states, we get hooked the minute we accept thoughts as facts. Thoughts are not facts. Our brains are designed to draw on all of our senses quickly, without hesitation. At the slightest hint of a threat, we can react. Although this response worked well in prehistoric times, and it can still serve us in some situations, like sensing a shadow and recognizing that it's a bear, so you can respond immediately by backing away quietly before it sees you. It can also be easily misinterpreted in today's environment. You can mistake minor annoyances or missteps as major threats, causing you to get hooked and respond automatically, which makes the situation worse instead of better. Susan describes how easy it is to spiral simple facts into unhelpful, even destructive opinions that can keep you stuck. Try this simple exercise that she suggests in her book. Free associate with these prompts one at a time. Your mobile phone, your in-laws, your house, your job. As you begin to free associate, see how quickly your associations are not facts, but become comparisons, opinions, judgments, or worries. For instance, I noticed my mobile phone transitioned from a communication device to a distraction, and then a commentary on my inability to focus. Susan identifies 4 common hooks that trap us and limit our ability to respond. One of these is thought blaming. This occurs when you let your thoughts dictate your actions or your inaction, and then blame the thought. For example, you think your supervisor is angry with you because you didn't get the report done on time, so you avoid him. Your thought about your supervisor drove the behavior, even though it was not verified. Another common hook, particularly during change, is clinging to old beliefs or behaviors that worked in the past, but they no longer fit the current situation. I worked with a CEO who was really frustrated that her executive team wouldn't make decisions, even though they had the authority to make them. As we began to unpack what was happening, she realized they were still operating from beliefs shaped by the previous CEO. Someone who discouraged independent thinking and publicly criticized dissent. In that environment, staying quiet and doing what you were told worked. However, in this new culture with the new CEO, those behaviors were holding everyone back. Unhooking is necessary to use the power of your emotional response system. However, as Susan describes, we can only do that when you accept yourself, your entire range of emotions, reclaim your story, and practice self-compassion. Then you're in a position to use your emotions instead of your emotions controlling and using you. One of the things I've learned through meditation and mindfulness is that we don't control our thoughts all the time. Thoughts will come and thoughts will go. What we do control and what is at the core of practicing emotional agility is the choices we make about the thoughts we have. Susan states that when you are emotionally agile, you don't waste time wrestling with your impulses. You simply make choices that align with your values. To do this, you need a vocabulary and the space to talk about your emotions. And unfortunately, because you, like most leaders, have probably been taught not to bring your emotion into your leadership practice, you may not have that vocabulary. And so that's one of the steps, developing the vocabulary. One example of developing a more precise vocabulary around emotions is the way we use the word or phrase, I'm stressed. It's used to describe feeling anything from being angry, sad, overwhelmed, to the feeling you get when someone cut in front of you at the coffee shop. When you can label your emotions with a precise vocabulary, for example, I'm stressed becomes I'm feeling overwhelmed with the amount of work, you're in a better position to navigate through the situation. One of my favorite questions in the book, she calls it, what the Func? F-U-N-C. It's one of my favorites because it's a way of helping us label and navigate the emotion. She describes it as a shorthand way of exploring what the purpose of the emotion is. For example, guilt may be a signal that you're out of alignment with a core value. Anger may be a signal that you feel threatened. Or, as I experienced recently, I didn't honor one of my boundaries. The third takeaway that helps enable change, walking your why. Walking your why is about aligning and living your life by your personal values, not by what you think you should value or others want or expect you to value. Similar to this is abiding by the law of change. The law of change simply states that the need for change must be internalized for any person to begin the change process. Finally, practicing emotional agility doesn't need to be overwhelming. You can make small tweaks like getting curious, asking questions, noticing your thought patterns, exploring habits, and challenging beliefs in small ways can have a dramatic impact. For example, I practice and I coach my clients on the power of the pause, taking a short 2 to 5 second pause before responding to a situation. Just that tiny amount of time is enough to respond instead of react. Emotional agility teaches that when we embrace our full emotional experience and we connect in the present with our values, we can navigate life's challenges with resilience, strength, and courage. Have you read Susan's book? If so, what were your takeaways? Write them in the comment section below. If you want to create an organization with employees and leaders who can use their emotions to foster growth and readiness for change, if so, reach out. Let's have a conversation. All right, that's it for now. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.